insane. So the threat is, let me cut my good light on. I don't want y'all to see my ugliness. So the threat is that SEC and the Big Ten was just gonna merge together, maybe, and form a super conference. But if you Mississippi State, why would you stay in that? And I've been saying it's gonna be some lawsuits anyway from these Group of Five.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got the Big 12 and the ACC that really got some. Like, they may join in, and they're saying 4 teams from the big boys, SEC, Big 10, get automatic in.
Mm-hmm.
That seems skewed as fudge. So I just don't want to get caught up in court. NCAA is trying to get rid of some doggone lawsuits right now. They won't let it in. We're going back to court, and then I think it's skewed. It's like, why I want to play in the Big Ten SEC championship thing. I mean, there's money out there, but is there money for Mississippi State to go to the Sun Belt, win 5 Sun Belt conferences, and be sitting there eating Snickers with a better contract over at the Sun Belt Conference and find themselves in the playoffs every year? I'm still processing.
That's interesting. That's an interesting spot. DC, what you thinking?
Man, I think it's a monopoly, and it's not like what you said. It's not like the paraphrase. They will own. They will own the playoffs, man. They will own the playoffs. Not only will they own the playoffs and they direct the playoffs, they are owning all the money too. It's like what you were saying about suing, man. They better not sign this contract, bro, because it's over. They sign this contract if the FBS school sign this contract, it's over, man.
That's true.
It is over, bro.
It's crazy. It's crazy. B-Sharp, what you thinking?
Oh man, it just set up that way. It was pretty much set up that way from the beginning. It was bound to happen anyway because the SEC, not only the SEC and the Big Ten are the 2 biggest conferences, and majority of them have all the blue bloods in them for the most part. It was just bound to happen. So I think they were just basically trying to NCAA or college football committee or whoever to test them before they was going to show them what they was going to do, because they basically hold all the chips. They have all the power. So they were just basically just testing them. This was the way it was going anyway. So it's really not a surprise. We're just going to have to see how many they're going to do. Where's the limit going to stop? Could be 14, could be 16 teams in it. But only thing for sure that we know this year, it's not going to be this year. That's the only thing for sure.
That's the only thing we know. Yeah.
No, it definitely starts in 2026 is when it starts, because that's when the 6-year contract starts with ESPN for the college football playoff games. Go ahead, Marcus. What you thinking?
Hey man, the SEC and the Big Ten put their foot down, man. They said that they was the big dogs, and they wanted what they want, and they going after revenue. We might actually see another game played in the SEC and the Big Ten this year. You might see some more play-in games to get in those 2nd and 3rd and 4th spots to get into those SEC games. So, hey, stay tuned, man. It could be a lot more to happen with this.
I'm a quote from the article. This is what it said. Quoted last spring, during intense and at times heated negotiations over the future of the college football playoff, leaders of the Big Ten and the SEC threatened to create their own postseason system. I don't think that was a threat. I think they actually was going to do it if they were not granted a majority of the if they were not granted a majority of the CFP revenue and full authority over the playoff format. In the end, executives of the 10 FBS leagues and Notre Dame, this is the part that got me, signed a memorandum of understanding handing control over the college football's 2 richest conferences. End quote. This is the thing. What were they thinking? Why would you do that?
Guaranteed check.
Why would you sign over that much power to the SEC and the Big Ten? I'm just help me understand that.
I wonder if is it a 5-year deal or a 3-year deal, or is it in perpetuity? Because I'm like, if I'm an alumni, like I said, Mark Cuban just started pushing Indiana. That's his right. I'm looking at the president of that school, and I'm calling some people, and I'm wondering what happens if a major tech company and 2 of these other stations that's left out, maybe like, I don't know, Fox and whoever, they join up and say, you know what, let them go and do that. We're going to do this over here. I mean, because we can make money over here too, because people may just not like that because people don't like the NFL that watch college and vice versa. So it seems like I don't know. I just see lawsuits and
Would this be something that I'm gonna ask y'all this? I want to get all y'all thoughts on this. I'm gonna ask B Sharp this first. Do y'all think this is something that the Big 12, the ACC, is going to regret in the next 2 to 3 years?
They don't have a choice.
I would leave the conference.
They really don't have a choice. They can regret it all they want. That's why Florida State was trying to get out of the ACC anyway, because they seen where everything was going, how everything is going. So it really don't matter if they going to regret it, because that's where it's going. So you got to get in where you fit in right now.
DC, what you think?
Yeah, I think they're gonna regret it. But like B Sharp said, they can regret it all they want to. It's like they're complaining now already. But I'm like, okay, bro, you in the contract stages, but you're complaining forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't sign the contract.
Yep.
Because like Ty said, they can band together and say, okay, y'all do y'all thing, and we'll do our thing, man. And people watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But don't complain and sign the contract like some actors do. You know what I'm saying? They complain, we're not making money, but it's like somebody is signing these contracts. Somebody signing these contracts for you to do these movies and not get paid. And you're doing the acting, but on the back end, are you complaining for it? Like, don't sign the contracts.
Could this have been something? Could this have been to where what we're seeing now? Because I know last year we was having I don't know if we had it on this show, but I know we had it on. I think we probably had it on Auburn Addicts. Where we talked about the revenue split that the SEC and the Big Ten were going to get the majority share going forward. And I think at that time, I think it was like 20. I think the SEC was going to get like 27%, 28, and the Big Ten was going to get like 27 to 26% of what was coming, or something of that nature. Could them agreeing to this memorandum of understanding last year, could this have been something? Could what we have just got yesterday from Ross Dellinger and this reporter, could this have been something new that basically the SEC and the Big Ten kind of snuck in there at the last minute and that the other conferences didn't know about? Because if you would have known about this from the jump, I just don't understand, or I just don't see the other conference commissioners just being like, all right, we'll sign this, we'll do this, but we still gonna have some type of say so in how this is going. And I'm gonna read this excerpt right here. And this is what it said. It said, in quote, according to most who have viewed the memorandum of understanding from last spring, the SEC and Big Ten hold sole discretion on the future CFP format starting in 2026, the beginning of the CFP's new 6-year television agreement with ESPN that runs through 2031 through the 2031 playoff. This agreement grants the league's decision-making powers over the format, but directs them, this is the thing, but directs them to have meaningful consultation, in quotations, and collect input, in quotation, from other conferences before making decisions. I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think the SEC and the Big Ten is gonna do that at all.
It sounds like that Steven Spielberg deal when he handed over Star Wars. Yeah, we're gonna consult you, buddy. Okay.
No, not at all, man. Marcus, what you thinking, man?
Exactly what you thinking. It's gonna get ugly. I think the Big Ten and the SEC gonna throw whoever and whenever, wherever, however they want to throw people in there. It's just like D. Shaw said, it's just how it's going, and they signed up for it. Like, if you didn't want that to happen, you shouldn't sign the contract. Well,
go ahead, Ty. You got something?
Well, I was just thinking, like, okay, now if I'm a Fresno State fan, I know it's hard for us to even envision that. 6-year deal is great, because I just wondered, I think that does overall viewership go up because of this?
That's a good question.
Because you got more, they said they're going to have more Big Ten SEC matchups, more Auburn versus Michigan, Alabama versus Iowa State. And see how I gave y'all Michigan. and things like that. But overall, like the overall landscape, since you can say Fresno State or whatever is in it, but they like, man, that's kind of like me. I might as well just go watch Tuskegee.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's different now. It's like there's always that hope we win that championship at Fresno State, San Diego State, but no, not no more. It's over.
Is this? Do you think? This is a question for anybody who want to answer first. Do you?
If it was ever there. Yeah.
Do you think this is the start of what we've been considering of coming the two super conferences between the SEC and the Big Ten?
Yeah.
Y'all believe so?
Yeah.
So okay, so are we basically thinking that the SEC and the Big Ten is just about to start picking out schools, basically figuring out a way to be like, all right, we just about to expand this and just have basically a NFC and AFC in college football?
Yeah, I think so.
Man,
until they eventually merged 20 years later. I saw an article. I was looking through some stock stuff, and just on the side it says Amazon and Netflix are about to dominate sports. I'm like, what? Yeah. But what if an Amazon Netflix says, okay, ESPN got them under contract. Hey, folks, come talk to me. Hey, Big 12, why don't you go talk to Southland Conference? I don't know these conferences, smaller ones. You know, y'all come over here, man. We do a whole championship. We're gonna put y'all up here, and they got money to throw around like that. I mean, but it could work because they got fans. They got some fans. Because I still wonder why NFL is using Amazon. I'd be like, man, I don't want to hear Kurt Hurst on Thursday night. But people seem to be watching.
Agree. Well, I'm gonna ask you this. Why wouldn't a conference like the Sun Belt or the conference like the MAC, like, just be like, all right, cool, we don't want to be a part of this. You already only giving us one automatic qualifier out of 5 conferences. Why don't we just all 5 smaller conferences band together and just be like, yo, Amazon, Netflix, let's create something together and let's build our product. We can compete with what they're doing. Why don't the part that I'm confused about in this whole situation is, why are the group of 5 schools included in this? Because like I just stated, they only gonna get one automatic qualifier out of this in anyway.
Bro, but it's like Tight said, the bottom line with this thing is money, man. And they are including them because they don't want lawsuits.
Those administrators want that check.
Yeah.
Until Mark Cuban and the big boosters say, the guy that's pushing Arizona, I don't know, he build houses. They say he build about 1,000 houses a year in Arizona. He put a lot of money in Arizona State last year. The big banker that goes to until them guys go back to the president, be like, hey, man, what you signed? Like, no, we got to get out of that. I'm going to have my lawyer call y'all. We got to have a meeting. It'll take 3 years for them to get out of it, but it does sound like it's pretty stupid. And we don't know if it has you can renegotiate or you can opt out as a conference.
True. Yeah.
After every 2 years or something, if you don't feel comfortable. Because, see, you got to remember, the SEC and the Big Ten, maybe in arrogance, figure they can go be the next NFL at this point.
Very true.
And I've always told DC, I said, man, NFL low down, but y'all better go read them stories about the USFL. They sued them, but they sued the NFL. The USFL sued the NFL after they closed, and like the NFL said, yeah, we tripped y'all up. Everything fair and unfair. Gave them a check and said, now go away, and they couldn't start back up.
Which brings me to my next point about this whole thing when it comes to the format, because now we know that next year in 2026 is gonna expand to 14 teams, but it has stated that it could expand to 16 2 years after that. And who's to say that it potentially could expand to 18 to 24 6 years down the road? So here's the question that I have for you all. With now, having a playoff in college football, and to Tyke's point about what the SEC and the Big Ten potentially can do with teaming up together and potentially being a competitor to the NFL. We've talked about this. I know I've stated that I wouldn't be surprised if in the future that the collegiate sports programs at these universities will one day be leased out to private equity guys or billionaires, and then those guys will just lease the name from the universities and they'll pay a fee to the university to use those names. I know I've said that, but what's to say? With this new format coming out, adding basically an extra game in December and competing with the NFL. Is this a test to see if college football can compete with the NFL? Because I have my thoughts on that. I don't think they can. I'm gonna put it out there. Spoiler alert. I don't think they can because I think the NFL is a tried and true brand that has already been tested and people love it because every year after year, their revenue continues to grow. So do you all think this is a test to see if college football potential, especially the SEC and the Big Ten, can compete with the NFL on some of those Saturdays during the fall when normally there wouldn't be a college football game at that time and the NFL will be playing on those Saturdays? We'll be playing those playoff games on Saturdays. What do y'all think? Go first. Go ahead.
I don't think so. I think they're gonna find a way to schedule those games in a compact way and put them in a good situation where it doesn't collide with the NFL.
So basically, you're saying we're gonna be watching games on Tuesdays then, Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
I doubt it.
I doubt it.
They tried that. You remember this past couple weeks, and the NFL ran those games on Saturday, and the ratings didn't look good. But like I say, things can always change if you got better teams. So it's hard to. They can try it. I wouldn't advise it.
Talking about the NFL against the so you saying you think hold up. I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. So you think the NFL would lose to college football?
No. Other way around.
Oh, okay, all right. I just want to
that's what they did. They put some lesser games up on, like I think it was some bowl games up or something. And was at the beginning of the playoffs. And the NFL did games on Saturday when they normally wouldn't have done them. And the numbers, even though I didn't even care about it, wasn't marquee games. I can't remember exactly which ones they were, but they did well. NFL did well, and everybody was kind of laughing at the college games. I'm not sure if that was. I thought that was the first round of the playoffs because they were horrible anyway.
Okay. I think, man. I put asterisk by this, man. I think if the Big Ten and the SEC form a super conference and have sides just like the NFC and AFC, I think they can compete, man. Say this is my asterisk. If you will have to like delete teams like Vanderbilt and bring in Florida State. You have to.
I think they will leave.
Yeah. You have to delete like teams like that are not competitive and bring in like a Clemson or something like that. If you bring in like a couple
brands,
big brands into the SEC Big Ten, and they just branch off and have a league of their own. Man, I think that'll be awesome. I think people. Yeah, I don't think it would die though. I don't think.
I still don't think it would compete.
You can't.
I still don't think it would.
And NFL is a monster in its own.
Yeah.
Like it's not even close to a competition. It's a reason why you don't see none of those college football games played on Sunday during NFL time. It's a reason why you don't see it because it's no competition at all. The NFL can do that if they want to, especially if it's a marquee game.
Yeah. Just think about that. If they put a marquee game on a Saturday at 1:00, like Pittsburgh. Now that's why do Pittsburgh go to anywhere and they can almost be a home team because they got fans everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean, but I think they could do it. I wonder about this though. It's like some teams, you can get rid of. Vanderbilt may leave, but I'm gonna leave with a check. But you may be trying to put Mississippi State out, and they like, I ain't going nowhere. So you have to get them another check.
Yeah,
Vanderbilt be like, and then I just really think we could have two colleges, but then they eat each other because they playing all day. They playing at the same time, which they do now. But this is quite the conundrum. I don't have the answers. That's why I'm just running off at the mouth.
I don't think nobody has the answers to this right now at the moment. This is kind of new. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was kind of expected, but I don't think. I think the thing that kind of threw me off was the fact of how the other conferences just gave the SEC and the Big Ten just the discretion to do whatever they wanted to do.
Right.
That's what kind of threw me off for us. That's what just kind of threw me.
They threatened to take their product and go start their own separate thing without them.
But this is the thing, though. If you let's just get in. I know this goes into a little bit of business, but if we live in a capitalistic society, why don't you want to bet on yourself? ESPN ain't the only is not the only provider out there. Notre Dame is an independent school that get money directly from NBC.
Yeah,
You
what
know
what
I'm
does
saying?
this do for Notre Dame?
They
But
on
Notre
NBC.
Dame signed off on it too.
But
See,
that's something that's just like I don't even know how. Every school can't do that. Have that NBC deal.
No, I understand. No, I understand what you're saying.
Texas tried it.
Yeah, Texas tried it. But what I'm
But
saying is if the group of five schools got together and was like, all right, man, this is what we gonna do, bro. Sunbelt, you go to Netflix. Conference USA, Apple TV. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. And then it's not gonna be immediate, but over time, if it's marketed correctly and it's done correctly, if you believe in capitalism, eventually you're gonna see growth in it. And especially with the way money is thrown around in college football right now, you'll be able to get better athletes that come to those schools and things and stuff of that nature. What are y'all thoughts on that?
Well, that's why I was. Go ahead. Go ahead, Sharp. Okay, you got it.
Yeah, we live in a capitalist society regardless. But just because you have it set up that way don't mean the product gonna get any better.
Right.
That's just the prime example. You can look at the NBA right now. The NBA is just god awful right now. No matter how much you think you expanding it, the product is being watered down.
Yeah.
You don't want to water down this. Like college football pretty much handles itself. You don't even really see too much changes in the NFL. Only thing they try to add is an extra game or maybe add an extra playoff team. But the whole structure is pretty much the same. It's been the same since the Super Bowl era.
Of course,
everything is pretty much the same. Oh, you make it we're gonna put one team in this division or over here in this conference, but that's about it. You don't mess up the structure of it, the foundation of it. And I think what they're doing right now, yeah, it may lead to more dollars. It could for a period of time, but you don't want to mess up your product.
Right.
Okay, hold on. I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. So basically, you're saying messing up the product. So you basically saying if the group of 5 teams leave, it will mess up the product of college football.
Yeah,
it all depends on if you're trying to be greedy. Because like it's easy to watch these games on. I can literally just turn on my TV and I can just watch a game. Once you start trying to.
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correct. So if the group of 5 leave the football bowl subdivision, the FBS, and leave the college football playoff committee, it will mess up the brand that we already have with them not even being included in the playoff right now. We're only just having that one automatic qualifier. It will mess that up. I just want to make sure I'm understanding that correctly.
For that, I'm not talking about like mess it up like the product on the field, but if you start, you got to come over here, you got to subscribe and watch it over here and do it over here, or money over here. It ain't like teams staying with the same teams anymore. It ain't like teams, players staying with the same teams year in, year out or
like
whatnot.
the NFL, yeah.
But isn't that what the SEC network is though? But how many
people you know watch? Most people don't watch the SEC network. Most folks watch ESPN. Most folks watch NBC. Most folks watch Fox Sports. Most folks do not go to even CBS. They don't go to the SEC network. Certain group of people may go to the SEC network and watch like a recap or something. But what big game be on the SEC network?
They usually try to put a mid-marquee game on there every weekend, but outside of that, when the season over, when the season's over, they just sit there. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
It's like it's expensive to run a whole network.
What I'm talking about
is Feinbaum. I mean,
Feinbaum's on there all the time.
Right.
SEC now and all this stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, if you're having this conference, and I'm using the Sun Belt as an example because they have Troy, South Alabama, all those teams in the Sun Belt, James Madison, all those teams in the Sun Belt. If you're using that and you're saying, look, our games, we're exclusive, just like the SEC is exclusively on ESPN and ABC. If you are saying, look, Sun Belt, we're gonna put your games on YouTube. YouTube is considered to be one of the, if not right behind Google, probably the next biggest search engine there is. So if you're putting the Sun Belt on what considered to be one of the top 2 search engines in the country, in the world, how is that not going to drive growth to your product for people to see it? I'm just trying to understand that part.
Because there's too many streaming networks. If you just keep expanding it, that's why I said if you look at the NBA right now, it's like on 30 different networks. And I just want to watch one game.
Right.
Like it used to just be TNT, NBC, ABC, ESPN. ABC may just be like a primetime game on Sunday. Or you get the TNT on Thursday and Tuesday and Thursday. ESPN, you can watch it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Right.
But if I gotta go, oh man, I gotta subscribe to Amazon.
Subscribe to that.
Now I gotta go to Apple. Now I gotta go to Netflix. Hey, they got them on HBO. Like they're just taking more money out of people's pocket. Then they're gonna just have to look like, all right, I gotta pick and choose which
Like
one.
pick and choose.
That's true. That's fact.
And that's
Because
gonna
the thing about Americans, you always gonna pay for entertainment. You're gonna find a way to do it.
Well, I will
You
say that, but
you'll pay to see the big games.
for pretty big games. But the thing is with the SEC, like I'm sorry, with the NFL, I've been over backwards to see a Pittsburgh game on Amazon. And I'll probably do the same for Alabama, but right now I watch more games than that. Now, got to get out of the SEC, bubble.
Yep.
If you at Fresno State,
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
If you're a TCU or something, you like, well, we over on on Max, so we watching on Max, and you start to separate, and y'all saying the same thing a little differently, but you start to separate the eye, and you got to remember, people only have so much time to watch football anyway. It's not exactly endless like it is for maybe we probably watch more than most Americans, but so I'm over here, I got to pay to see this game. So whatever I got to do to watch this at 3:00, I'm got to get rid of everything else. Some people may even cut off their YouTube, their cable provider, just so they can have this Max because they want to see TCU.
Exactly.
And I don't have time for this other stuff.
Yeah.
I used to, the dollar only goes so far, but I don't want to throw this part of the conversation off. But I said, what if the group of 5? And I'm saying one thing about capitalism, you got to have an underclass. Exactly. This is capitalism. If I am,
that's facts, Ty.
If I am Iowa State, I don't know who the bottom dwellers have traditionally been in Mississippi State. I'm thinking I might be able to go to this.
My point.
This other place and win some conference championships over there, even though where the money is big. Well, if I keep winning, I'll be like Miami with the Big East.
Yep.
Work for them. They still selling hats. They ain't won nothing. But until this year, they won a little something. So I wonder about that part of it as well. And then I said, well, the group of 5 do something interesting and go for broke. Be like, there's only so many ways we can split people's eyes in the fall. Our season needs to start in Valentine's Day.
That's funny.
But that's an anomaly.
I know what I'm saying.
That's what Miami did. That doesn't happen. Like there's still more schools. And of course you're gonna follow your school or whatnot. The networks don't care about you. Yeah, we know Alabama people gonna follow Alabama people, Auburn gonna follow Auburn, and so on and so forth. But they don't care. They want everybody. They don't just want those particular fans. They want everybody here.
Yeah,
that's where the money is. Just they know only a certain amount of people just gonna watch this. Had this subscription for the football season. No, they want you here forever.
Forever, yeah.
No, you got a point there, but the thing about it is what people got to realize is sports is still a regional sport. As much as ESPN try to make it national, it's still regional. Just like y'all saying, you're going to follow the team that you want to follow. That's still a regional type thing. You're going to follow the teams that your team is playing that year. Sports is still regional to a degree. It's still regional. You have those college teams that have national appeal and things stuff like that. That's the reason why this past season, probably the college football playoff didn't do as well as what people thought it was because you didn't have the brands in there of people that were appeal to watching. Sports is still a regional product. How many times have you actually sat back and was like, yeah, let me see what Arizona doing. Yeah, let me see what Washington State doing. Yeah, let me see what Rutgers doing. You following just what you follow in your region for real. So sports is still regional to
my competitors. Yeah,
exactly. It's still regional to
and that's why you'll have a conversation with somebody from the Pac-10 back then. The Pac-10 be like, man, we can't Well, with USC, they will always say, man, we good. I don't know what you talking about, man. Y'all can't play no ball. Then they come and beat Alabama. We're like, okay, I guess they are kind of.
But that just,
Exactly.
like
Until you see those national brands, the USC's, the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the
What
Georgia.
conference they in again?
but they're not really worried about. That's what I'm saying. You just talking about the fandom. They don't care just about the fandom. They care about everybody.
The
They want women and children to watch just
Got a
because,
point.
like, oh, let me just turn on this TV just because there's a game on.
Right.
But now I got to pay all this extra money to do this. Like, no, most folks are not going to do that.
You got a point, which basically brings me back to the point of saying, could this be the destruction of college football? Because what's going to happen is you're just going to start seeing those same brands over and over and over.
I think it's very boring. Yeah, 6 years down the road.
So why don't these group of 5 schools go out, make a deal with one of these? And I'm just throwing an idea out there. They can go out, make a deal. And then if they go out, and let's just say South Alabama and I'm using South Alabama for a reason. South Alabama in the Sun Belt goes out, makes a deal with YouTube. And then they just go through the Sun Belt and just beating teams in the Sun Belt. And then they go out and beat up Oklahoma State like they did last year.
I think you got to see that diminishing return first, because they get a $10 million check, which they double the check they're getting today by doing this, right?
Yeah.
I said, I don't know what kind of out they got. They may be able to get it out at the end of each season as a conference. So you go 3 years out, and then everybody's like, man, Ohio State won 3 years in a row. And then, so we're sitting there like, Michigan, because they're up to 40 million now, right? So Michigan won 3 years in a row. And then, I don't know, Tight Sports may go black. I don't, so I don't know. It just gets so boring. We're like, we can't break through. If I feel that way, then what is the FIU person thinking? They like, man, so the commissioner of Southland or whatever, of Sunbelt, they may opt out and try it then, but they want to get this, run this pimp game first. Let's see how much money these fools gonna send us to do this craziness.
Apparently, they'll send you a lot because they give you do 1.3 billion a year.
That's a lot.
Next 6 years, that's a lot of money. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break real quick, man. Let's go ahead, bring in our sponsor for the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Hollywood Media. Do you want to feel like a star? Then go to Hollywood Media, and you'll be shining. From sports interviews, athletic highlight tapes, athletic photography, Hollywood Media will make you the star of all stars. Feel like a star on the most important days of your life, from college graduation to saying I do to your forever person. Let Hollywood Media make your event star-studded. Subscribe and follow on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Hollywood_media. And follow on Facebook at Hollywood Media with 2 A's. Hollywood. Yeah, man, shout out to our guy DJ, man. Shout out to our guy DJ, man. Want to feel like a star. Get out here, man. Follow on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at Hollywood_media. That's Hollywood EY, and on Facebook at Hollywood Media with 2 A's, man. We appreciate him so much. Being a day one supporter of the Water Cooler Talk podcast, man. We appreciate you so much, man, for rocking with us. Let's get back to the conversation, fellas. All right, man. So kind of talked about the overall look up. Let's talk about how this affects the SEC. So in this same article, man, there are discussions about how this potentially could affect the SEC with conference championship implications. Not the conference championship per se, but the actual conference championship game. We could potentially see the conference championship game go away. Instead of it being a conference championship game, it could be a conference championship play-in, which automatically with what this new format sets up, because it's a 4-4, 2-2, 1+1 format. So 4 automatic qualifiers for the SEC and the Big Ten, 2 for the ACC and the Big 12, 1 automatic qualifier for the group of 5 schools, and then of course Notre Dame if they finish within the top 14. We potentially could see the way we could potentially see SEC football look like the way basketball looks now. Just have a regular season SEC champion, and then basically 3 through 6 will play for the play-in spot for the other two spots to get into the college football playoff. How do y'all feel about this? What are y'all thoughts on that?
I think I'd rather see the play in. I mean, because if you get the SEC champion and the people who are playing in the SEC championship, they're going to be in the playoffs anyway.
True,
especially with these automatic bids coming up. I would like to see the play in, man. It would be more exciting. Just rest the SEC championship people and let's do a play in, man. That would be like super duper exciting, man. So I'd rather see that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tez. Auburn Tez is in the chat right now, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, Tez? How you feeling?
Pretty good, man. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. We can hear you. Hope you good, man. Hope everything good, man. Go ahead, my man. Go ahead. All right. Tight, what you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking that so you said 1 and 2 go to the playoffs, but then 3 through 6 got a battle to get in.
Yeah. So three would play 6, 4 would play 5.
Still got 12 regular game season. Regular games.
Yeah, it'll be 12 regular games, and of course, in this, it'll be an extra conference game. And also in this situation, the Big Ten and the SEC will now have a contract where their schools will play each other every year.
So we're gonna get rid of the cream puffs, though, right?
Basically, almost.
Yeah, because I'm cream puff. I'm not putting up with this. Not unless I'm like a FCS team that really needs a check. Because they don't make no money off this. I would rather see that because I thought that the conference championships was. I just say I want to see them go away. I won't say they kept people from winning the championship this year, but it sure looked like that. I would rather see a play in. That would be really exciting. Mm-hmm. Really, really exciting.
Yeah, Marcus, what you thinking?
With the play in, it means extended football, extended SEC football, another game in the SEC, 9 games. They've been trying to get it to be 9 games for a while. So I'm excited to see if they can do that.
All right, Tez, what you thinking, man?
Man, I'm rolling with the play-in. I think that's a better format. I think it works for the NBA playoffs. Even though a lot of people don't like the play-in format, but I think it eliminates a lot of the arguments that we have and discussions that we have about teams deserving to be in there and not. You get those teams to get a playoff team play in. You got to win your way into the playoffs. I think that's probably the best format for it.
Right.
Be sharp.
I guess the play-in right now, because I already knew the automatic qualifying with the conferences was doomed to fail from the start, only because all conferences are not built the same. And you see the result of that this year. And we know it's always that one team every year, like an Indiana, who had a historic season. But everybody and their mama knew Indiana wasn't going to beat nobody in this playoff.
Interesting. So it seems like it's a play-in, a SEC play-in sweep across the board. That's what it seemed like.
Pretty much. That's right now.
Okay. All right. Well, let's ask this.
A little better than what it is right now, though. Honestly, like B. Sharp was saying.
Say it again, Marcus.
I said that structure, that play-in structure, looks better than the structure that we currently have right now, like B. Sharp was alluding to.
Okay. Well, so basically what you're telling me is our teams just got to be one of the 6 best teams in the conference then.
And they got to win the play-in.
That's what I'm saying. You got to be one of the 6 best teams in the conference to have an opportunity to get into the play-in.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: what does that do for conference championships games? Because conference championship games are essentially play-in games right now.
It wouldn't be a conference championship game
because your top is automatically going to the playoffs, so they'll be done. So you got because we are it's only 2 conferences are going to have 4 teams, I guess, at right now. Mm-hmm. Yep. So they're saying they have a play-in with the 3rd through the 6th team. They do a playing games to see who goes in the 3rd and 4th position in the Big Ten and in the SEC.
Yep. So basically, the ACC and the Big 12 will still have conference championship games, basically. Or does it still matter? I mean, because if you finish 1 and 2 in the conference, you automatically should get a qualifier bid, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So does the conference championship game matter then for those conferences?
It don't. That's what I'm saying. You could just get rid of it. You can just get rid of it, man. Actually, they could do a play-in their conferences too. It wouldn't be as many. if you can do for the bottom four, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, I guess if you got the first two, then they couldn't. So
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I
basically,
get
so
what you're
basically in that point, you'll be losing the game, and you'll be losing revenue for your conference between the Big 12 and the ACC. I'm just not understanding how this memorandum of understanding is helping them two conferences out.
But it might be like what you guys are saying though. It might be like the ACC, Big 12, and especially the Group of Five. I mean the the smaller schools are probably looking at it like y'all saying with the NFL and the college football. They might be looking like, man, let me just grab this money because I'm not gonna be able to compete with them. So they might just be conceding. We're not gonna be able to compete with these guys, man. Just give me my check, man.
Like Jason was saying in the comment section, bro, they're not getting rid of those conference championships. Right now, the conference
Absolutely
championships, that ain't about to happen. I can promise you that ain't about to happen. But I know,
especially.
I think
I was about to say specifically in the SEC championship.
1 and 2. The conference championship is gonna be between 1 and 2. So it's just you're gonna still see that game, and whoever wins that game will be the 1 and 2 spot going into the college football playoff.
Yeah, but they're gonna be 1 and 2 already anyway.
Right. Yeah. See,
so it doesn't matter. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter because the thing of the matter, from the way that I read it,
you gotta have a game to see.
From the way that I read it, no, you won't have to have a game.
No, because one and two gonna get in anyway.
Like basketball, like a basketball.
It doesn't matter if you have the SEC championship because 1 and 2, even if one beat 2 or 2 beat 1, they still both getting in. So you might as well play in and make more money to have 2 games versus 1.
So basically what they're doing is they're going to torpedo or they're going to just cancel out the conference championship game that's in Atlanta and just going to have play-in games on the conference on the teams campuses. That's just how I see it. That's just from the way I interpret it. That's just how
I hope they don't do it. I hope they do it like keep the Atlanta.
I got a question. Are we talking about play-in tournaments, play-in games for each conference, or are we just talking about playing games for the bottom of the bracket?
No. So here's what it is. So the memorandum right now it's a 4-4, 2-2, 1+1 format that's going for 14 teams. So basically what it is, the SEC will have 4 automatic qualifiers, the Big 10 will have 4 automatic qualifiers, the Big 12 and the ACC will have 4 automatic qualifiers, 1 automatic qualifier from the Group of 5. Who?
2. What are you saying together for?
The Group of 5 will have 1.
Yeah, you said the Big 12 and the ACC will have 2 each, right?
Yeah, we'll have 2 each.
Okay.
Yeah, they have 2 each, and then the group of 5 will have 1, and then of course Notre Dame. So basically, what we're saying is, with now the SEC having 4 automatic qualifiers going into the the college football playoff, 1 and 2 automatically is going to get into the playoff no matter what. So 1 is gonna be like how basketball is. Whoever finishes 1 will be the regular season champion. So the SEC tournament is just to figure out who will win the tournament championship between all 16 schools. Is basically what it is. So basically, having a conference championship game is null and void because 1 already won it. So in order to get those other 2 spots, 3 through 6 would have to play each other to determine which of those teams will get the last 2 spots as the automatic qualifiers going into the college football playoff. So that's the reason why we're saying the conference championship game, well, at least me, I'm saying that the conference championship game is going to go away. And what's going to happen is you're going to have 2 play-in games for 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5 in the SEC and the Big 10. That's what I'm saying.
And that's a lot, ain't it?
And that's what they're proposing in the memorandum. That's
exactly what they're
proposing
in the memorandum.
Yeah, that's what the SEC.
They're getting rid of.
The SEC is going to get rid of this.
Yeah, they're getting rid of the conference championship game.
So I'm telling you that I think that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think top to bottom that's a bad idea. I don't think that no team should have. If you have 4 automatic qualifiers, we're saying that now because the SEC is on top. But there may come a time where that 4th team is not in the ranking, and they're going to get an automatic qualifier. That's what happened this year. You got Clemson getting an automatic qualifying bid, and they were nowhere near needed to be in the playoffs. You got a lot of teams. There's a couple teams like B. Shaw just said. You had Indiana. Well, they didn't get an automatic qualifying bid, but you got Boise got an automatic qualifying bid. They didn't really deserve that ranking.
And
Their
they got a bye.
bid put them high. Yeah, they end up with a bye week. So like, I don't know if that's a good idea. And plus,
At
the
all.
SEC championship generates so much income. It generates more income than some bowl games. I don't
But
see the
that-
SEC getting rid of that.
But that play-in game, like I said, I wouldn't hold it on campus. I would hold it at 2 separate neutral spots. They would make that money back, I think.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I do agree. But Tez, like you said, like DC said earlier, everybody said that, it let me know these fools already signed off.
what
They
I'm saying.
signed their letter of intent. Like, it's
Right.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
the group of 5 is saying, yeah, we'll let y'all do one because I guess the money is there right now. I don't know if they got it out, but it is crazy. And I think it can get boring. I do believe out of everything we said, I just think this could get not year 1, year 2, but year 4 could be it may be great if Alabama's winning or Tennessee's winning, but it's like you sit back and look at that thing and it just ain't right. And I wonder as well, even if they don't, that big conferences don't merge. I just wonder if there's some bottom dwellers of both of the big conferences. Am I going to stay here in the 13, 14, 15, 16 position for the next 6 years? Because I can't catch up like that. I don't think you could catch up. I don't think you have a breakthrough year in the Big Ten, the SEC, and maybe you never will. But I don't know. Why wouldn't I go over there and just play some football, make money, beating up on other conferences?
I just don't see basically what me and Jason pretty much on the same point in the comment section, bro. They are not breaking that contract, that SEC contract for that SEC championship game, man. That is not going to happen. I can pretty much guarantee. I don't care how everything going to line up. You can
Yeah, I don't see
expect
that.
SEC championship game. Like you said, I thought it was longer than that for the next 12 years. It's going to happen because it generates so much money and it's going to become a factor in probably seeding and all that. So
Yep.
I don't see any other conference. I don't even see Big Ten even getting rid of theirs. Now, other conferences, I don't know. I can't speak on that, but I know for sure those two, as of right now, I don't see it at all.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be here this year, but in 2026, that's a question to have. Like, because it's logistically it just doesn't work. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna play. So what? So how does this happen? So are we gonna start games in the middle of August? Or how does that work? Because if that's the question, then if you really want to have a conference championship game, then games are gonna have to start the weekend of August 24th, 23rd, the weekend before the last weekend of August.
And that might work because a lot of people talking about moving their spring to the summer.
Exactly.
No more spring games.
I mean, this is the thing. This is the thing because logistically it doesn't work. If week 0 normally is the last weekend of August, and then week 1 is week 0 is normally when you have like the precursor to when all the big games start in the first weekend of September.
Right.
So normally first weekend of September all the way through first weekend of December is when you have conference championship weekend. Normally the first Saturday is when the SEC championship game is. Now what they're proposing is if you add in that ninth conference game into the 12 games, it stays the same, but everything will still line up exactly how it's supposed to go. And that first weekend of December is when you're supposed to have the SEC championship game. So if you need a play-in, where are you going to play those play-in games at? Because the week before that, you still have to finish the season. So are we saying you're going to have play-in games that Friday and then have the SEC championship game that Saturday? Or are we going to move the season back a week to have those 2 play-in games to see who will be the 3rd and 4th seed? Or do we just eliminate the game altogether, which I don't have a problem with for the simple fact because if 1 and 2 are automatic qualifiers, if 1 has a better record in the SEC than 2, they win the SEC championship. They win the regular season championship. It happens in basketball right now. The SEC tournament is just the SEC tournament in basketball is just another way for them to make money. They'll have people to come to Birmingham, go to Nashville, wherever they have it at, so they can spend money on rooms, spend money on food, spend money on tickets for people to come. It's just another way of making revenue. What's y'all thoughts on that?
I think they could do. I think they can mark because it's ESPN. I think you can market the games. I know they make a lot of money off of the SEC championship, but I don't know why they wouldn't have one playoff game in Atlanta and do the other game, and then the biggest thing they could get to over in Jerry's World or whatever is the biggest thing. And I think they definitely would going to make more money. Personally, I mean, I think they're going to make more money. Plus, their fans are going to be like, "Oh, we got a shot." I mean, one thing I know about selling those T-shirts, when you take an Alabama to a Holiday Bowl, and it turn out they don't make that much money. But when this South Carolina gets into a Holiday Bowl and they hadn't been there for a while, it gets crazy. So that 6 team is probably going to be pretty decent team with a pretty good following. I think they'll make their money back. It may take some getting used to. I just think the whole thing gets weak in about 4 or 5 years if we looking at the same teams, or the same conferences. If I'm just gonna be a conference hater. If I'm over in the what is it, the Mountain West or something, give me another conference, whatever. I'm not watching these people beat my team out or leave my whole conference out every year. And you gonna line me up against the number one team in the country? You learn my conference champion against the number one team every year, and nothing may not change even if you went back to the BCS or any other calculation that you got. But it's like I can't sit there and watch that. I'm always thinking that after homecoming, give me a team. If I'm a New Mexico Aztec, whatever it is, I'm after homecoming. I'm probably gonna start watching NFL exclusively. Because you have no chance.
Anybody else got thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think all this is just leading to the Big Ten and Big Ten and the SEC excluding everybody else out of this whole thing. So to answer your question, Nick, is those 9 conference games, I think we're gonna end up getting split with the Big Ten, and the other 3 weeks of the season is gonna be dedicated to playoff play. So I don't think they add any games. I think they just take away. It's going to be no New Mexico states and none of these little schools. They're going to take those away and put playoff games in those spots and playoff games.
So basically, you're saying the last 3 weeks of the season is going to be playing games, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I think that's where it's headed. Okay. I think that's where it's headed. I mean,
even though they're not conference games. Even though they're not conference games. These won't be conference games. They'll be playing games.
Yeah, that's where it's headed. Because I don't see like what are these schools? What is the SEC going to get from playing an ACC team under this format? Like, why do it? If I get 4 automatic qualifiers, why am I going out here and playing a Clemson, the top of these conferences, or these mediocre conferences? Why would I risk it to go play at Arizona State or any of these schools? Like, nah, I just play this SEC schedule. I finish top 4 and then I can get in the playoffs. There's no need for me to go outside of that.
Be 6 and hope to win the play-in game.
Yeah, that's what's happening. That's what this is going to do. Like, I think that the other conferences that are in it, that are signing this, are not realizing like y'all finna shut yourselves out of it. It's kind of like what happened to the Pac-12 when they signed and said that they didn't want to go expand the playoffs, not realizing that, like, okay, y'all are the conference that's going to be shut out, and then you're not going to have a conference in a couple years. They didn't have the foresight to see that, and it's just like the way it's set up. What's the incentive of playing in some of those smaller schools? They benefit from it because if they beat the SEC team, of course they get the notoriety. But like, what is the SEC team going to benefit? They already don't benefit that much now. What's going to be the benefit then?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that, but when at least me, I'm gonna talk for myself. What I'm understanding is, in order to get an automatic qualifier from the SEC, you have to win. You have to be one of the top 4 teams in the SEC. So basically, what we're saying is, and I'm guessing that's Jason, HOF college football guy. Is that Jason? That's him. I'm guessing. B-Chart.
My fault. I'm on mute. Yeah, that's him.
Okay. All right. So here's here's the thing. Here's the thing. What I'm thinking, and you are right. They do have a contract, but as you know, a lot of contracts can be cut. When you pay the right amount, you can buy out of contracts. Happens all the time.
Especially if you extend it.
Exactly. it could be bought out all the time. Here's the thing, and trust me, the SEC has enough money to do it. They have it. Here's the thing. Getting rid of the conference championship game, in my opinion, is not a totally bad idea. I don't think it is. I don't think it's a totally bad idea. I think I like to play in myself better, because if you already got 1 and 2 there, 1 and 2 more than likely at that time of the year is going to be the people. Is going to be the teams that potentially are going to be the teams that potentially will be the ones that actually probably be the ones that play in the national championship game for your conference. So they get an extra week of rest. Those two teams get an extra week of rest. You risk injuries. More than likely, it's going to be the same team that's there every single year anyway. So it is what it is. That's just normally what we've seen so far. So getting that 3 through 6, and I'm looking at it from a business perspective, from a revenue perspective. If you're looking at it 3, if 6 beat 3 or if 5 beat 4, if that happens, I mean, you potentially could have what? Missouri and possibly what's another team? Oklahoma in that thing or something like that. If they're one of the 3 through 6 teams that get in, and that potentially could be playing in the college football playoff. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? What's wrong? Are we just focused on losing revenue from one game and then just have but you're basically adding another game for the weekend. So I'm just trying to understand where's the crazy talk. I'm just trying
downside, I guess.
Yeah, what's the downside?
If you look at this year, you would have had a matchup between Tennessee and Texas A&M would have played, and Alabama and South Carolina would have played to get in.
Yes, we need to move this program immediately.
So my point is, if you telling me you wouldn't watch a play-in game between Texas A&M and Tennessee and Alabama and South Carolina,
and the 1 and 2 this year would have been Georgia and Texas.
You're right. They got in anyway.
They would have got in anyway.
Yeah.
So
if you saying Tennessee, Texas A&M, Alabama, South Carolina,
especially a neutral site
playoffs,
especially a neutral site,
and you don't even have to break it. You don't have to break it. You can play it at the Dome. Play it at the Dome to keep the contract.
Both of them in the dome, you know, like when they split the ticket though, I think that ticket you gotta split it up. That ticket would be too expensive for 2 games. Good Lord, that thing is ridiculous already.
But I'm just saying, I mean, are we just but here's my question. Are we just focused on the tradition of just having an SEC championship game?
I think so, but it's not, you know.
Is that what it is?
I'm
so old. I remember the first one.
I'm focused on what happens to the regular season. Like, right? Like this year, right? I want to think about this year. Think about what happened. You got a team that got left out of the SEC of the playoff. Okay. And the number one argument was the other team didn't play anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I can finish 4th in the SEC, or for this matter, so 1 and 2 will make it. If I can finish 6th in the SEC and have a shot at the playoff, guaranteed. If I finish 6th, I got a shot at the playoff.
Shot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What incentive do I have to schedule any other teams in any other big matchups outside of the SEC? You're not going to see any SEC teams scheduling the Ohio States. You're not going to get those beginning of the year matchups.
It's a part of the contract. They got a Big Ten thing. They're going to make sure the Big Ten and the SEC are playing more often on regular throughout the year.
That's part of the contract.
So where does that leave Florida State, Clemson?
Well, actually, I was about to bring that point up. Somebody said when they hired Belichick at North Carolina, if you remember, DC, remember that conspiracy I told you? They were saying that North Carolina was looking to move anyway. That's why they hired him.
Right.
That's to get them ready to go. Yeah, to get them out of the ACC, because Florida State want to lead too. And I'm still clamoring for Georgia Tech if y'all want to come on over.
You're going to see conference expansion, man.
Yeah, I think you will. Because like I said, if you're a bottom dweller, I'm just saying, if you 15, 16, or you end up being 17, 18 in this conference or Big Ten, you you got to kind of consider, like, I'm hanging on to this for a while, but it's going to be hard, especially with, like I said, Michigan spending $40 million for price tags. I mean, how do you catch up with that?
So what's funny is I kind of think that this is like where they should go, honestly. It kind of along the lines of what I think what would fix all of it is the Big Ten, SEC separate themselves and they put themselves as a tier above. And now when you do that, you can say, hey, if you want to transfer, you got to transfer down a tier, right? You can tell a player, say, hey, you can't transfer within the SEC or Big Ten because this is the higher tier. You have to go down a tier now. Or you transfer from one of them teams, you may be able to transfer upper tier, kind of like they did the JUCO thing. I think that's kind of like how I can, me personally, how I think like you envision, you kind of fix the whole thing. But yeah, if I'm a team, if I'm an SEC team, and I am scheduling this, even though I have to play a Big Ten team, I'm gonna get the bottom of the barrel. I'm gonna play the worst Big Ten team I can play. I have no incentive to go out there and play no big time week 1 matchup against a good Big Ten team because all I gotta do is play whoever, right? Just to satisfy the contract, play my SEC games, finish 6th, and get a shot at the playoff.
And this is what I was saying. You're gonna water down the product because you're gonna get situations like that. And who wants, like, I want to see Alabama play, but I promise you, I'm not going to watch no Alabama and Indiana play or no Alabama and Maryland play.
I am.
But majority of everybody is not going to watch that game. But you know what they will watch? They will watch those big time games, the Ohio State versus Alabama. But what is the incentive of these guys playing those teams?
Right. I wonder if they'll do something like I don't know if y'all know much about soccer. I don't know everything about it, but how they move, like the Premier League over there, they move those teams up based on how good you are, and everybody tries to move their club up, and then if not, you get moved down to a lesser league. I mean, it can go on for this could get really tricky. But yeah, I like the play in. I think they would make their money. Like I said, you don't have to change the building. You probably need to add a building, but you don't have to. If I'd say Alabama and South Carolina show up in Atlanta to play the, what was it? Would be what the was that the 3-4 or the 4-5 matchup, or whatever?
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying to get in the building, you know, and watch it. I'm watching. I'm in line, like I'm watching that. But I do think overall down the line, if it's like okay, it's like gambling almost. It's like you got. If I'm an outside fan, I just gotta say, I'm looking at half of this tournament is made up of people I don't care about. You know, soon as my group of 5 team is, I don't know, we got 3 losses, I can stop watching football.
True.
Every year, whether we 3-3 or 8-3, I'm out.
But people don't think like that. You thinking from an Alabama fan perspective because y'all have a winning. No, y'all have a winning tradition. You feel what I'm saying?
But if I'm outside, if I'm Fresno State,
I'm saying what I'm saying is Fresno State and all those schools, they watch football now and they don't even have a chance of going to championship. Vanderbilt fans, Mississippi State fans,
but they can turn the TV off earlier now.
I get, but I'm saying the stadium is packed every week. So everybody, all teams, some people just going to watch football, bro. They know they don't even have a chance.
Right.
Otherwise, all like Oregon State and Washington State, their fans wouldn't have even came to games, but they packed those stadiums because they know they didn't even have a chance, bro.
But disagreement gives them a bigger reason to hate.
I get it, but I'm saying some people just watch it to watch it, man.
8 teams.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it either.
16-team playoffs.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to be funny. I can't believe I'm about to say this. That's even unfair to Notre Dame.
Notre Dame getting over though, dog.
Yeah, as usual. But I mean,
yeah.
Until you put them in a conference, they go to now. What if they join the ACC? Does that change something?
Very much so. Because at that point in time, Notre Dame is definitely gonna start saying something about this.
So they 2 goes to 3 because Notre Dame.
Exactly. All right, man. Let's go ahead. Before we get up out of here, man, I want y'all to get y'all thoughts on this, man. There's also in that quote as well, in that article, there's a proposal of potentially remaking the NCAA governance and championship structure. And I'm just going to read this. It's quote, a proposal from the Power Conferences stand to potentially remake the NCAA governance and championship structure, shifting more of the authority to the power leagues over rulemaking, policy decisions, and even postseason events. The proposal would grant the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and ACC rights to manage postseason championships, not just in football, but in men's and women's basketball. Basically, they'll be taking over operations and management over what the NCAA has really been taking care of. So basically, it wouldn't be the NCAA March Madness anymore. It'll be whatever they want to call it. Kind of had this conversation a year ago as well. How the NCAA don't matter.
He's screaming, bro.
Yeah. So, what are y'all thoughts on this, man? How y'all feel about the Power Four conferences now? Basically saying we're gonna take over all sports. Yeah, we're just gonna get rid of NCAA. I think the NCAA has not been. They've been irrelevant for the past decade or more, in my opinion. But what are y'all thoughts? Whoever want to go first, man.
Yeah, I think it's already happening, man. I think it's like the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC. Those are the conferences that they have the power anyway, just by nature of scheduling, right? They have the ability to lock out the group of 5 schools anyway as we speak. And like when you see the schedule and from now you see that happening. You know, they're talking about adding the 9th SEC game, and those other conferences are probably gonna follow. So I think it's just, from the NCAA standpoint, I don't even think they had a choice. You know what I mean? After NIL, like what? I'm just gonna be honest with you. As long as I've been watching football, the only thing that I've seen the NCAA do is enforce recruiting violations.
That's it.
And once you took that power from them, it's like, what else are they there for? You know, so yeah, it's inevitable. I think just as long as they don't mess up the tournament in basketball, because I think that they have it right over there now. If the conferences go in and put their hands in that and mess that up, then it'll be a bad thing. But it's already happening in football.
Hey, yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, potentially these conferences are gonna get together and they're gonna be in control of postseason play for basketball, men's and women's, potentially baseball. I just see it coming down to the point to where the NCAA World Series, the NCAA women's tournament, the NCAA men's tournament, it won't be anything. It'll be whatever these schools decide they want to call it, because they'll be governing it. This is gonna be interesting to see, man. So that's I'm gonna ask you this question. Do you still think the NCAA is relevant? Traville.
He believed that they are relevant?
Nah, it's a joke. We had this conversation a year ago, and we all went back and forth about it, just trying to figure out if the NCAA was relevant or not.
Who said it was relevant? That's what I'm trying to understand.
So what you don't realize is that the NCAA or the conferences and the NCAA are represented by, they're represented by their presidents. That's part of the problem. Instead of the people that actually know how to make money decisions. I don't know. I think they try to show teeth every once in a while, but isn't this stuff going on with Michigan? Michigan is like totally ignoring them. Michigan is like they try to even throw like Coach Sharon Moore under the bus for the Spygate thing, but what are they gonna do to him?
Mm-hmm.
They haven't done anything. They steadily spending more money. What is the NFL salary cap? Does anybody know what that is?
The NFL salary cap is the national revenue that the NFL gets multiplied by 48%, because that's the revenue split between the teams and the players. It's a 52-48 split. So whatever that is divided by, I multiply that divided by 32. So I think the NFL did. We're just gonna say that. Let's say the NFL did $2 billion last year. I'm just gonna do a number. So the NFL did $2 billion last year. You multiply that times 0.48, and then you divide that by 32. So basically, you're looking at what? About 300 million. Could be. I mean, that's 300 by about 200 something $million.
That's the share, but that's not their salary cap.
It's not their salary cap. That's what each team gets. So that salary cap.
I'm trying to see how close we get into the salary cap of the NFL. I mean,
let's see. I think the salary
cap on NIL. You're going to have that. I believe that's going to be a part of the structure to all that. But that's about as close as you're going to get it. Like, this is your cap for this.
Because that 40 million, if Michigan's spending 40 million, whoo.
Let me see what the salary cap is going
I
to be.
think they're going to do it by position, and they be sharp.
Say it again.
Saying they're going to do the cap by position.
I don't think so. I don't think you can necessarily do it by position. This ain't the NFL.
Right.
275, 300 million is going to be in
yeah.
So we got a ways to go. Okay.
Yeah, we got a ways to go.
And then especially the way everything's set up, like you saying Michigan, I doubt Michigan spent 40 million.
I think what that Bryce Underwood thing is what's there throwing everything off. And I don't know what they
I think that's like, I think he get like 10 million for like 4 years, 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
But let's just say they spending 40 million. If you don't do anything out of that, the spending gonna go down.
Right.
So that's why it's like a big difference compared to the NFL. NFL, you're gonna already have that cap regardless.
Yeah.
You just, do you want to spend that money or not?
Take the hits.
And take the hits. Mm-hmm.
All right, okay. Fellas, man, we appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us here around the water cooler tonight, man. Let's go ahead. Get everybody shout out their channels, man. Let's go ahead. Let's make it happen. We're going to start with. Hey, come on. There we go. Come on, man. What we doing? There we go. Be sharp. Go ahead.
Oh, man, we're going to start with me. Cool. Well, I'm Brent Sharp of the Sharpshooters Podcast. You hearing the echo. But y'all can catch me at the Sharpshooters Podcast. Link right there in the comment section. Just hit it. It costs $0.00 to subscribe to the channel and support. Also do the same thing for all the gentlemen channel out here. Support them. And you can definitely catch me on Twitter at B_Sharp, which you see right there. And appreciate all y'all. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to my baby. And shout out to the 4-6, aka Tuskegee, Alabama.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to the 4-6 as always. Tez.
What's happening, people? Sorry I'm late. Had some business to attend to. But yeah, you can catch me at let's see, we get it. Boom. That was it. Codename Tez on Twitter. I'm trying to blow my Twitter up. Go follow me if you haven't. And you can catch me on Sharpshooters Podcast every Tuesday around 7. We'll be going live, talking that talk. So yeah, go there, subscribe. I think we on the road to 800 right now. Subscribers.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yeah, trying to put some numbers up on the board. So if you haven't subscribed, please go subscribe. If you know somebody who hasn't subscribed, text them right now and tell them to go subscribe. And subscribe to everybody's channel up on here. That be like B Sharp said. And let's blow all these channels up, man. We all trying to win.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And shout out to Tez. Shout out to that guy, Arbor Tez, as they call him, man. Tight. What's going on, Tight?
I'm trying to figure out how to put my link in the chat, but I think I failed. Anyway, my name is Tight. You can find me at Tight Sports at Blue Sky, Facebook, and YouTube. And I'm out there in the bad lands of Twitter, better known as X, at Tight Sports Talk. You can join me Mondays at 7:30, unless it's a major holiday or my birthday, where I go around the herd to see what's going on at the University of Alabama when it comes to athletics, win, lose, or smackdown like we got on Saturday night. But we did pick up a nice little trophy there. It's a little trophy. It's the Iron Bowl. Do y'all remember this over there? Anyway,
This guy.
so I'm glad to be on here with you guys, and let's do it again soon, yeah. Thank
course, man. Of course. And always. Last but certainly not least, I got the one and only DC Wolf. What's going on, man?
Man, I am DC Wolf. You can catch me at Auburn_addicts on all platforms, man. Talking Auburn all the time. 24/7 in my sleep. When I'm walking my dog, whatever I'm doing, I'm talking Auburn. Football, basketball. Y'all come join me, man. Hit that like, subscribe button. Get B Sharp over. Let's get them over 1,000, man. We got Nick Head. Get everybody over 1,000, man. Y'all subscribe to these shows, man.
Yep. Yes, sir. We got to get everybody blowed up over here, man. And of course, the other half of the Water Cooler Talk podcast. Marcus, go ahead.
Hey man, shout out the guys, man. Shout out Huggy, King Richard, man. Auburn Dad, Wade, man. Thank y'all come kick it, king of the comments. Thank y'all for come kicking it with us, man. Come back tomorrow. We here. You know, we're gonna turn up again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, we appreciate all y'all so much for rocking with us here around the Water Cooler. As always, man, my name is Nick Frazier, one half of the Water Cooler Talk podcast. As always, man, we appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us here. Before we get up out of here, make sure you do me a favor. Follow us on Facebook at the Water Cooler Talk podcast, on Instagram and TikTok at the Water Cooler Talk, on Twitter. Follow us at CoolersPod23, and of course, subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell button here on YouTube, so you know when we post videos when we go live here on YouTube, man. We appreciate y'all so much, man. As always, as Marcus said, we are here every night, Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, man. We appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us here. As always, everybody that's always shout out with us in the chat, man. We appreciate y'all so much for coming around the Water Cooler,
that like button,
and coming around and chopping it up with us here around the Water Cooler. As always, man. We appreciate y'all so much. Yeah, shout out to King Richard, man. We got to get more cubes in the cooler, man. We're trying to get more cubes in the cooler. That's what we're trying to do. We got to get more cubes in the cooler. We like 19 people away from 600. So let's see if we can make that happen soon, man. But we appreciate y'all so much. If all hearts and minds are clear, anything else for us before we get up out of here?
Don't forget to poke that like button right in the eye.
F them trees, burn them trees.
As always,
Roll out. I never got you called out your name last time.
Pollutants, litterers.
Hilarious, man.
Shout out Auburn softball. I see y'all girls.
That's what I'm saying. Shout out to
them.
Shout out to the people that scored 55 on y'all girls the other night. Wow.
Oh, she finna score 55 with a lot of people. So ain't true.
That was crazy.
There's more coming.
All right, man. As always, before we get up out here, man, shout out to the home team, 4-6, Booker T. Washington, Tuskegee, Macon County, man. We appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us here, man. Shout out to the University of South Alabama for giving me my degree. Shout out to my mom, my wife, my dog, man. I appreciate y'all so much. Shout out to my family. Love y'all, man. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us here. And of course, shout out to you all that come around the Water Cooler us every night. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate you so much for always giving us your time and opportunity to earn your subscribe and your presence, man. We appreciate you. Before we get up out of here, as always, y'all have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Better yet, y'all have a great one. As always, y'all be blessed, man. And until next time, we'll see you. One love. And we out. This mug.
Holla. Boys and girls of all ages, you're tuned into the Water Cooler Talk podcast, the biggest podcast in the world. Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Water Cooler Talks with your hosts, Nick Frazier and Marcus Fitzpatrick. Make sure you like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so that you never miss an episode.